We are very, very fortunate today to have hired an elite ball coach. Barnes is. He is definitely an elite coach. When you look at, let's get it. Rick Barnes, which includes 604 Division I head coaching wins in 28 seasons. Rick has taken 22 teams to NCAA tournaments as a head coach, including 16 of the last 17 years. 14 consecutive trips from 1999 through 2012. He's won 3 Big 12 titles. His teams have posted a perfect 1,000 score on the APR for 5 multi-year reports, as well as a perfect single-year APR every year dating back to 2005-06. He's averaged 24 wins a year in 17 seasons at Texas. He had 23 players who have been drafted by NBA franchise, including 13 first-round picks and 6 lottery picks. In 28 seasons as a Division I head coach, Rick has led teams to 22 total NCAA tournament berths, 6 times in the Sweet 16, 3 times in the Elite 8, and 1 time in the Final Four. Dating back to 1995, every 4-year player that Rick has coached has made at least 3 trips to the NCAA tournament. He led Clemson to the number 2 ranking in America, the highest in school history. And then he led Texas to their first ever number 1 ranking. In 19 of the last 20 NCAA tournaments, Rick Barnes has been patrolling the sidelines on our game's biggest stage. He also had 2 National Players of the Year in 13 seasons, T.J. Ford and Kevin Durant, and 8 All-Americans at Texas, 4 first-teamers. Had consecutive number 2 picks. He is, as I said to begin this press conference, an elite basketball coach. And all you have to do is talk to any of his peers who share that very rare air, and they will tell you that the University of Tennessee has an elite coach leading the basketball program. Rick Barnes is also a very unique person in that he's driven, but he's not all driven about basketball only. He's driven about building character in young men. As you heard me say earlier, he's driven about making certain that academics is the number 1 priority, and he has just as impressive, if not more impressive, track record in that arena as he does in the arena of competition. Please welcome the 20th head men's basketball coach at the University of Tennessee, Rick Barnes.
Thank you. Thank you. Really, I'm very humbled, and I am very thankful that you're here. And talk about quick, I can tell you about quick. But, you know, when I think back of all the head coaches that have coached here at the University of Tennessee, and from Ray Mears down, I'm honored to have a chance to stand here today as the 20th head basketball coach at the University of Tennessee, because I realize and I know that there's many, many people that would like to be standing here where I am today. But I will say this, I'm not sure of all those coaches that have come before me, if they knew the University of Tennessee like I knew it before I ever really walked back on this campus. Back in 1974, you had a co-ed here that I was really in love with, and the trip from Hickory, North Carolina over here was very short, and I actually can remember oftentimes leaving at 11:30 at night trying to get over here, and I'd never really been to a big-time college football game ever. And I asked her, I said, she actually asked me if I would like to come over here, and I said absolutely. And I came over in 1974 and had a chance to watch Tennessee play Tulsa. And I met Condridge Holloway today, and I remember exactly that the score was 17-10, and they beat Tulsa that day. But every time I would come over, I also remember stopping at a deli here and getting 2 roast beef and cheese sandwiches with lettuce before I got back on I-40 heading back to Hickory. So I really, truly, at that point in time, since 1974, I know what the University of Tennessee and the great fan base here is about. I know that. And so I know when people talk about Rocky Top, I know what they're talking about. And with that said, I'm telling you, I am excited to stand here before you today, and I truly know that I'm blessed to have this opportunity. And when I came over here during that time when Coach Mears was coaching, I do remember the Ernie and Bernie show. So I remember as a college player myself how that was a big thing during those years. And also I was very fortunate, and I've been unbelievably fortunate to meet so many coaches, and one of the best I've ever met and had a chance to share time with. I'm talking quality time, talking basketball, going on Converse trips together, was Pat Summitt. Believe me, one, she would never say anything, but there's only one place you ever want to coach. I can tell you that. And we had talks. I can remember on those trips, I can remember talking basketball, and I'm not sure I remember anyone or know anyone that wanted to talk basketball more than Pat. And so believe me, when I look at the pavilion out there, I'm honored to be a part of this great tradition. And how can you not be happy with what Holly Warwick has done? Last night we were watching the game, thinking about her following a legend like Pat, and in 3 years as a head coach winning 3 Southeast Conference championships. And what she's doing is really, and I'm looking so forward to having a chance to meet her and working with her, because I just know that it's special. But the last 2 days, I will tell you, it's been incredible. I've spent a lot of time with, and you ask how something like this might happen so quickly. Once Dave and I started talking, the one thing I knew was in 1987, I was a young assistant coach at George Mason University and desperately wanted to be a head coach. And so I would send my resumes out everywhere I could send it. And I finally got my very first interview at East Carolina University. And when I flew into Greenville, North Carolina, Dave Hart was waiting to pick me up. He was the associate athletic director there. And immediately, it was a relationship that I just knew that, one, he was genuine, he was real, and spending the next day with him and having a chance to spend the evening with he and Pam, and actually playing golf with Pam in Greenville. But for some reason, he didn't hire me. And so I'm thankful this time that he did. And but really, he was the associate athletic director at the time, and then obviously following his career from East Carolina to Florida State, Alabama, then here. And when we started talking about this, the one thing that I knew about him was, one, he's a basketball player, and there's just a trust level, a loyalty, and a way he makes you feel so comfortable. And then with those last 2 days, having a chance to be around Chancellor Cheek and his wife Eileen, thank you. I mean, from the time we sat down and started talking, it's just been unbelievable. Then being with Butch and Barb is last night as we sat and spent time together. It's again, we can talk about a lot of things, but it's the people. It really is. And so Dave, truly, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because it's going to be great. It's going to be great. But today, as I really came on campus for the first time and started walking through here and seeing everything, it was so easy for me to get energized. And again, to step back and realize just how fortunate and how blessed I am to have this opportunity. As we went through the facilities and everyone, there's that feeling about, I know the one Tennessee, you can feel it. The energy is truly incredible. And when I think about having a chance to meet with our team today and talking to them about where we see it, where we're going to go, and I actually got a text last night from Bob Stoops, the Oklahoma coach, and congratulating me. And he, I haven't had a chance to really respond back, but I do want to tell him that I am looking. He actually said to me, "I'm looking forward to seeing you in Knoxville," but I'm looking forward to seeing our football team run through the tee. I really am. I'm really excited about that part of it. And as I reflect back on a lot of different things, and again, I just really want to emphasize how humbled I am to be here, and I understand what's the great traditions that have come before me, and I can promise you this, that every day, I promise you this, that I'm going to protect the great integrity of this university, and our basketball program is going to mirror what this university stands about. And I just want you to know that I'm really, truly, really excited about what's happening here on Rocky Top. Thank you.
We'll go ahead and take questions for Coach. If you do have a question, raise your hand, and Josh will bring a microphone to you. Let's go down here to Rob.
Coach Barnes, Rob Lewis with VaultQuest.com. Can you just talk about what it's like to be starting, over at a place like this at this point in your career when you've accomplished so much, and to kind of be taking on a new challenge?
Well, to be quite honest, when I thought about it, and obviously a lot has happened in the last couple of days, but when I really finally had a chance to talk with Dave, one, I knew I wanted to coach. I love coaching basketball, but from talking with him and knowing about this great university, and 3 hours from my home, and again, I got excited when they were showing me around a little bit, driving down and seeing Morrell Hall with my wife then, and it was not hard to get excited. It really was, and again, it goes back to obviously the respect here, and the fact that I do know that I've had so many people, coaches in the Southeast Conference, and I would like to say over the last 3 days, I'm humbled by so many people and the way they've reached out, but the fact that so many people, once the news broke that I was involved, just everyone telling me, hey, that's going to be awesome, and it's going to be great. And so with that said, I feel like it's 1987 again, and I'm with Dave, and I'm just glad that we're going to get to do something really special, and we're going to do something really big.
Let's go to Mike.
Hi, Rick. Mike Strange with the Knoxville News Sentinel. What could you share with us about your message to these players sitting over here?
Well, again, a little bit of what I just said, that we all are fortunate and blessed to have this opportunity as players, where they're sitting right now, where they have said in this their locker room, playing on the court. There's thousands of young men would like to have this opportunity. As I would say the same thing for myself, there's thousands of coaches that would like to be standing here. So one thing we won't do is ever take for granted and have a sense of entitlement, that because what we want, believe me, we know the league that we play in, and we understand the climate of college basketball. Everybody wants it, and we've been given this opportunity, and now we've got to make the most of it. And what we have to do is hold each other accountable. We've got to coach each other. We want to have every component that goes into being a great team, and it starts with trust, it starts with loyalty, and it starts with the fact that we know that all we have to do is look around us every single day. There is greatness. There's greatness. There's examples everywhere. And the standard has been set. So that's not a hard thing to figure out. The standard has been set, and it's a standard that we have to work and fight for every day to live up to.
Patrick Brown with the Chattanooga Times-Free Press. Rick, I guess on Saturday you mentioned that you were asked, I guess, if you would be coaching again. You said probably quicker than you think. Did you know at that point that this was an opportunity? And I guess kind of when did you, kind of figure out that this was a chance, this would be a place where you could land?
We did. Was that Saturday or Sunday? That was Sunday, right? That was Sunday, yeah. At that point in time, yes, it was something that was, had been discussed, and it was something that I truly wanted to see happen. It really was, so I knew that at the point in time, but I had not been here. But we did have some conversations, and I was just really excited about getting back and spending some time with Dave, and then it's moved quickly, but it's been a great 2 days, and so yeah, I knew at that point in time when I made that statement.
Good. Ben Frederickson, Knoxville News Sentinel. You mentioned feeling a sense of being re-energized as you were walking around today. Do you feel that, some people said you had a great run at Texas. Why would he want to go and redo this, do this all over again? I guess, can you speak to maybe why you made that decision and why you looked to start something, another chapter?
Well, one, I'm a young man, and it had to be, I'd had friends say to me, you might want to step back and not be so quick to decide what, this was before anybody even knew what was going on, but there was never a hesitancy on my part once I had made contact with Tennessee and we started talking, and it was, I love coaching. I really do. I love working with young people. I've been so blessed with players players have taught me. I could go down the line from my very first team as a head coach at George Mason. You really develop with those players. The wins and losses, yeah, they're there, but they could fade away. But those relationships that you develop never fades away, not just with players, but with people that you meet along the way. And that's something that I'm not ready to give up. And but I am driven. I've had one goal in my life, and that would be this is a university that provides you with everything you need. Hard that is. So when David got going and talking, there was no doubt that I wanted to be here. Should I tell him the story?
I'd love to.
Is this working? After 1 year, I had a chance to go work in the Big East, and I'd been at Providence for 1 or 2, 3 years, and I just know I was in Seattle, Washington, at the Final Four, and I'm serious, at 7 o'clock in the morning, my phone rang, and it said, I'm Doug Dickey from the University of Tennessee. I want to talk to you about our job. And I'm like, you're kidding me, who is this? And he said, I'm telling you, this is what it is. And he told me to call back the number and ask for his name in the room, and it did. And about an hour later or so, I did sit down with him, and we talked. And but at that point in time, I just left George Mason at Providence, and but even with that, it goes back really to 1974 when I came here, and I think that made, in some ways, looking back, put a spark in my head that I knew I wanted to be a part of something as big as the University of Tennessee, and obviously I was with some wonderful jobs, but in some ways I feel like I'm coming home. I really do. I feel like I'm coming home, and I talked to my mom a couple hours ago, and she's 84 now, and so she's excited, and but it still goes back to the opportunity, and but my thoughts in the past was where I was in my career. It just wasn't the right time for me to make that move.
Chuck Williams, WJBE Radio. Have any of the players indicated they may want to leave, and if they do, would you let them go?
No, I haven't had a chance to really sit down one-on-one with them, and I will do that soon. And because I can tell you this, I was impressed when we were walking through the facilities. I saw a couple guys working out, which you love that as a coach when you see guys that are doing that, especially right now this time of year. But we had a quick meeting with them, but I am looking forward to sitting down with them. And like I told them, I want us to begin, and the foundation that's going to be laid will be starting this year. And it will be starting here in a couple of days, actually. But I haven't had a one-on-one conversation with any of the players, but that's something I'm looking forward to.
Coach, Michael Spencer from WAT, 6 on your side, the ABC affiliate here in Knoxville.
Okay, I got it.
Have you had time to
Assistants here?
Assistants here?
Dave and I have been together the last 2 days, and I've obviously been in contact with some of my assistants, hoping to get that.
Hear me? Saying we're
Well, again, I think that, I think a lot of it has to do with I've had some great mentors in my life. I could name some wonderful people that have had just a tremendous that I know is the fact that the things that Dave read out, that's not me. There's been a team of people around me that have, I promise you, what we've done has been as blessed, and I'm humbled by those relationships. And so it's never been about me, and I've realized that a long time ago, and so I appreciate. I've had unbelievable assistant coaches that have been with me, and players and people, and once you're in it, you got to stay together, and the trust, loyalty is something that can never be broken. That circle of trust that we talk about, that's something that can never be broken. There's nothing like when you're allowed to bring your fans, and you see kids that are growing up with a tradition, and there's nothing like it. And when you have a recruiting campus, they're always a little. And so when you have a football game forget before you go into the stadium and run through the team, forget that. It's everything around it. And I've never understood where people talk about a football school, because I've said to everyone from the time that I've had to deal with that question, I don't know of any understand the importance of football. We want to build off that enthusiasm. I want to build off what Butch is doing. I mean, with him last night, it was impressive, and you could feel that he's conversation. He got me excited. We talked a lot. major asset. It's a major asset to every sport on this campus. I promise you. It's a sport that we all pull for because we understand what it drives, and it's never, ever bothered me. And because I've always thought you've got to have it.
Steve McGargy, Associated Press. The way the Texas experience ended, you indicated it was an unwanted departure. Does it add more incentive, put more belly going into the job, or does it have any impact?
No, I wouldn't be honest with you if I didn't say it didn't have an impact. I've always had a goal, and that was to have a chance to when the job was and leave it. And so I said it. There's nothing bitter about my time at Tech because it was an incredible. I mean, believe me, incredible. Build on what has happened, and we know this basketball program's had success. We know that, and so we know it can be done. It's not like it's never been done. It's been done, and the fact is, I want to be a part of simply when my time is up. I do want to really leave it better than we found it, and I don't care if I were walking into Pat Summitt's shoes. I'd say the same thing, and that'd be hard to do. The fact is, I am excited. I want to do this.
Patrick Brown with the Chattanooga Times Free Press again. I guess you'll be the last.
He talked about a lot of things, but the one thing that creates stability, and to be honest with you, we have to do what. But I would have dealt with Dave on a handshake. Again, I'm just excited.
Now that you're in the SEC as a
The off the top of my head, 6, 4. Now, John, have grown up. Friend. And I've believe me, and it's only better. It's only going to continue to get better because again, I want you to know I'm so excited